Dexter Gordon's The End of a Love Affair as we hold our sentiments in check. KUVO Jazz announces this morning the retirement of two pillars of its organization, Carlos Lando and Arturo Gómez, effective in 2026. Carlos Lando and Arturo Gómez are in studio this morning to just tell a couple of stories about how we got here. And they could be very long, but we only have till 10 o'clock, and there's still music to play.
I know that Arturo remembers how he got here. I'm not sure I do, but
I do, and I wrote the story. It's on the website at kuvo.org. I take the blame and the credit.
There you go.
Carlos, how did you come to the decision of your retirement?
Well, I mean, it just, that's a hard one to explain, except to say that you just kind of know it. You just know when the time arrives that it's time to close the book on that part of my life's experience. I didn't know it would be, War and Peace, 900 pages. No idea.
39 years.
I had no idea that that's the way it was going to roll out, but it did, and I'm very grateful. I think that in a few months I'll be able to, as I decompress, be able to look back and say, you know what was it really 39 years at KUVO, and of course we just celebrated our 40th anniversary. I just it's hard to put into words. I have to be honest with you. It's really a tough thing, but I will say this: I'm ready. The old blues tune. I'm ready for you. I hope you're ready for me. So,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to the man on your left. It's Arturo Gómez, who is going out guns blazing. You've got so much content planned for the rest of this year, Arturo. We're just excited to hear what you still have up your short tropical sleeves.
Well, thank you, Steve, and thank you, Abby, and thank you, Carlos, for permitting me to be part of this special edition of the morning set. And yes, I still have a few candles to burn down, and that will be my traditional Christmas Eve show that I've been doing for my 22 and a half years here at KUVO, in addition to my special New Year's Eve and New Year's Day show, which I always do live in the studio. And so I look forward to sharing that tradition as I head out the door. And then I look forward to also my special Christmas edition of Salsa con Jazz, where we play all Christmas music from all throughout Latin America, and a heavy emphasis, of course, on the Caribbean and New York Latin music scene that's got so many outstanding Christmas songs, and also songs with dealing with other aspects of Christmas that are popular in Latin America, such as the Three Kings Day.
Now, you guys have had some amazing collaborations over the years, but even this year, when we lost Eddie Palmieri, you two collaborated on an amazing program for Salsa con Jazz. Your collaborations go back to even before KUVO days.
Well, the reason I am even retiring from KUVO Jazz and from the radio industry is because of Carlos Lando, because I'm originally a retail jeweler by trade. That was my original career. After a divorce, I left Southern California, where I had been living, to go visit my parents, being Cuban Americans. They retired in Miami. And I went there just to get myself together. All right, what am I going to do now in the second half of my life? And a cousin of mine who knew my love of music and knew I was a record collector, et cetera, he said, look, there's a little startup community station here that needs people like you that have music, know music, and want to share it. I go, hey, that's fine, but I don't know anything about radio. I don't even have a good traditional radio voice for being a broadcaster. He said, no, it doesn't matter here. And I was there a little over a year trying to feel my way when serendipitously Carlos Lando, along with three other professional community radio personnel came to Miami to that station, WDNA, as part of what was called the Blueprint Plan. We were barely a blip on the radar in a major market like Miami. They came and they analyzed who we were, what was the best response of our listeners to what we were playing, and they suggested a new format and a new way to do things, and Carlos suggested to management at that time that I become the music director, and I did, and it started a new career, and over the many years I was in Miami, Carlos was always my mentor and consultant. When we would meet up at conferences and conventions, he would introduce me to all the movers and shakers of the industry that helped me become a quote-unquote, hate to blow my own horn, award-winning music director.
Carlos, you and Arturo have been partners in crime and music. I meant music. For a while. I have to say, you two have had as much to do with the personality of KUVO and the presence of Latin music on KUVO across the schedule 7 days a week as anybody. So well done, and thank you.
Well, and Arturo was talking about the music, and I can remember, and I had been in Denver since 1980, which is 5 years before KUVO even went on the air, and I was working on the commercial side of the band, as they say, and I can always, but I was listening to the jazz station when I wasn't on the air. Obviously, I was listening to KDX. I haven't moved here from New York City, but when I came to KUVO, I had this kaleidoscope of music that was in my head that kind of reflected what the music was like that I grew up around, that there were no boundaries, that I could be into Machito, and I could be into Gil Scott-Heron, and I could be into Miles, and I could be, you know what I mean? And I could be into Muddy Waters. So it was like, I was thinking, I go, music is music. How do we put this together, curate it in a way that people understand that it's to be enjoyed, and then my mantra was Ellington, obviously, beyond category, not pigeonhole people. But with that came challenges, and one of the challenges was that Denver, being a very traditional jazz town, really in terms of the jazz taste and flavor, was really an extension, the way I look at it at the time, and I'm speaking about mid-'80s, an extension of L.A. in a lot of ways.
Yeah, West Coast sound.
West Coast, cool, laid-back kind of style, and so where my greatest influence in terms of the stuff that I liked came from the East, came from New York, came from the Caribbean. You see, so I had to make some adjustments when I first came. I came in hard with the New York edge, the bop, the
Tito.
hard, the boom, and the Tito and everything else, and so you had people going, "Who are these Afro-Cubans? What is this all about here? They're messing up with our music, And slowly but surely, through education, through people like Arturo and us, kind of what we call connecting the dots musically to why all this music is important, and explaining what Jelly Roll Morton meant when the Spanish tinge was so important in jazz, and that goes back to the 30s.
Abby, where do people read more about the stories of Carlos and Arturo on our website?
We've been collecting a lot of great, stories and timelines and photographs, and they're posted at the website on kuvo.org. If you go to the Discover tab, you'll see the Black KUVO Legacy button, and then right next to it, celebrating Carlos and Arturo. And like I said, there's lots of photos. There's even a couple curated playlists that y'all put together. And really excitingly, there's a spot for you to tell your story of, knowing Carlos and Arturo over the years, and what are your favorite, moments. You can share those at kuvo.org. It's /KUVO-legacy, and then our story celebrating Carlos and Arturo.
Under the Discover tab. Carlos, your last show is when?
Will be on the 30th of December. I believe that's a Thursday or Wednesday?
Tuesday.
A Tuesday?
It's a Tuesday.
Okay, that'll be the 30th of
December.
December will be my last show.
Arturo Gómez, you're going to be on through that last week of the year.
I'll be on lunchtime until Friday, January 2nd. And then Salsa con Jazz on Sunday, January 4th, when I'll present part 3 and the final chapter of La Familia, All in the Family, where all the music is performed by relatives, either collectively or individually, because the family tree in Latin jazz and salsa is enormous.
All we can say to you, Arturo, and to you, Carlos, is thank you.
And I've got one other thing I'd like to mention. I want to thank our community of listeners, the volunteers, and the musicians who have been part of this amazing journey of KUVO in the past 40 years. If you talk to Flo, one of the founders and original president and CEO of KUVO, she will tell you that when I first got here, the first thing I said was, we got to have a performance studio. There's got to be a place where musicians can come in and be heard. And we have the power, a very powerful radio station here. They need to be brought in and invited in to play. And to me, that is really the core and the essence of why this radio station is really so successful and so entrenched culturally in our community, because so many people have gotten the opportunity to hear the performance. The music is, recorded music is great. Live music is even better. It's in the moment, and if you stay in the moment with what's going on, then you're never going to be passé. You're there as the music evolves with the musicians.
Snaps up.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Can we play music?
Yeah.
Now that we've talked about it, yes, Steve.
Yeah. No, we're short. So.
All right. Good. So let's do this one. I was telling Arturo earlier. I go, I'm going to drop another Christmas tune on everybody, but this one really reflects the spirit of the Latin influence in jazz. So the great group Cuba LA, which you know well.
Yeah, one of my favorite percussionists is in that group, Luis Conte, who played many years with Claire Fisher, and his young partner was Poncho Sanchez.
Wow.
When they were both part of the Claire Fisher group in Los Angeles, and then they went on to bigger and better things individually. And if I may say one final remark, when I arrived here to Denver in April of 2003, James Van Buren was the first musician I met because he happened to be here the day I arrived. And a few days later, I met Pernell Steen, who has a tribute tonight at Dazzle, which is why I'm wearing my piano roll over here in honor of Pernell Steen, who was also a member of the first 5 Points Jazz Festival that took place about a month after I arrived. And Carlos told me, I want you to get out and get involved, get into it, like James Brown would have said, in the music community. And I took it to heart. And I did do that, and I became a member of the 5 Points Jazz Festival Organizing Committee for 22 years until its demise. And I've also have enjoyed being in the community of the amazing musician community we have here along the Front Range. And that's what I will miss the most, the involvement of being with the musicians community as part of KUVO, because I'll still be there, but I'll be there as an individual representing myself, which will be a little bit different than representing KUVO Jazz.
Let's go with God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. Don't read anything into it.
It doesn't refer to us because it says Merry Gentlemen.
Cuba LA on KUVO.